Watch out! Eddie immediately pulled her to his side. Moments later, the dog whose body had decomposed jumped from the bushes, pouncing towards where Jill had previously stood. Drawing her gun, Lupo shot the dog straight in the head. The deadly bullet instantly melted its brain into a puddle.
What the hell is that?
Jill stammered while pointing at the rotting dog that had been killed. It was covered in sores and maggots, but strangely, it could still move. Although her legs felt weak, Jill was still able to stand up. If it wasn't for her training routine, she would have fallen on her butt while closing her eyes in fear. Normally, it should be dead with wounds and a decaying body like that. But strangely, it can still move, like a zombie's. Eddie gave his opinion. That's right. That dog was none other than a zombie. Realizing the appearance of this zombie dog, he was sure that soon, human zombies would appear too. We better go back. It's dangerous here, he said as he kept his arm around Jill's waist.
You're right. And thank you for saving me. Without you, I would have been pounced by it.
Jill nervously nodded. You're welcome. You're my lover after all. Didn't lovers need to protect each other? He replied with a laugh.
Lover? Isn't it too fast?
Jill frowned. It wasn't that she refused, but this was too hasty. After all, they were just getting to know each other. The world is spinning fast. Today, we meet. Tomorrow, we get married. Isn't that right? Anyway, we must return to the villa first, then I'll take you home. And don't forget to call me when you are assigned to a mission, okay?
Okay.
She nodded. For now, she needed to calm herself down. She didn't expect this investigation to be more dangerous than she thought. Eddie, Jill, and Lespro set off for Jill's apartment in Raccoon City. After driving Jill home safely, Eddie immediately invites Lespro to stop by the famous coffee shop in town. How about some coffee before we head back? He invited.
I am responsible for your safety. Wherever you go, I will follow,
she replied professionally. After ordering 2 cups of coffee, Eddie and Lespro sat in the customer seats on the second floor. We need to talk about something serious. As you have seen, that dog is a zombie, a bioweapons, he explained in a serious tone. In the future, we will encounter them more often and the deadliest ones too.
I've heard of this kind of monster before, and I've also heard rumors of some special departments in charge of dealing with this problem.
She nodded. At first, she thought this absurd information was fake, but after witnessing it with her own eyes, she finally realized that this was no mere game.
Anyway, as long as you pay me fairly, my protection will continue to apply,
she said with confidence and poise. As long as you are loyal to me, I will treat you fairly and well. He nodded. 20 years. I have always pretended to be a naive and foolish guy. With this crisis, it is time for me to shine, he said with a sense of determination. Believe me, you will be paid more while working for me. He proudly patted his chest. The man's statement made her pause. Inwardly, she thought he and herself were quite compatible, both in nature and behavior. Perhaps.
So, what are your plans now?
She asked, this time with a gentler and understanding tone, not as cold and indifferent as before. I want you to take the team leader position. Don't forget to keep an eye on Vladimir Bodrovsky. I'm afraid he's a spy that Umbrella has assigned to me, he replied. I myself am not very good at organizing teams, so I would like you to accept my request. With you, I'm sure the team's performance will improve. Be sure not to betray me. He coldly gazes at her.
I hate betrayers,
she replied with a frown. She hated traitors, and indeed, she wouldn't try to betray Eddie. Hearing Lespro's positive reply, his cold expression instantly softened, replaced with his usual warm smile. By the way, isn't it time for you to start a new family? He moved the topic so suddenly. From the beginning, he wanted to tease this pretty MILF. Lespro, who understood what he meant, laughed softly.
Look at your physique first, boy. You need to exercise more. After that, I might consider your proposal.
Don't underestimate me. We can try it now if you don't believe it. Her taunt angered him. How could his physical strength be questioned? It seemed he needed to teach her not to play with fire.